You're watching HSP Podcast on the Give a Shot Network. I am Jeff Martin alongside my tag team partner, the trendsetter Brian Berga, and we are the Jersey Wrecking Crew. Follow us on all our social media at High Spot Podcast. If you can't watch us here on the Give a Shot Network, remember to like and subscribe. You can also listen to us on all podcast platforms. Trendsetter, we just did a WrestlePalooza live. That was a huge success. I want to thank you for everyone that watched. Now we're back here talking about SmackDown, Crown Jewel. Maybe we'll get to AEW a little bit. We also got to talk about SmackDown as well, and some NXT, as NXT No Mercy is this weekend. Trendsetter, what is going on? How you doing? Crazy times, man. But we're back here and doing what we love doing. But I got to tell you something, Trendsetter. As a fan, I am emotionally burnt out. I know the guys on Give a Shot do all the sports. I'm as a Mets fan and a Jets fan. If I didn't have wrestling, I don't know what the hell I would do. I'd be lost.
If sometimes it's the opposite. Sometimes if wrestling gets you frustrated, so you can't even enjoy the sports that you want anyway. So listen, man, talking about an exciting time, and it gets used over and over again. I understand it. It's get publicized like, oh, what a great time to be a wrestling fan, all the content. But it is pretty intriguing, the fact that I'll be honest, the WWE hasn't been hitting home runs like it used to before in the past. We've been critical of it before. But still doesn't defeat the purpose, the fact that it's still something we're intrigued because there's still potential things there. Talking about John Cena, we're talking about, we're leading into Survivor Series. It'll be right down the road as well. We have Crown Jewel that we'll be talking about as well. NXT has their events that they're going to be, we're going to be discussing too, man. Just potential there. I guess the frustrating part as fans is the fact that we're not getting to the roads we want to get. Understandably so. You can't give them everything they want. But my God, what potential there is right now, which is why we're excited to always be talking about it to see what the outcomes are. But man, we don't want to do it any other way here, sharing it with you and the crew.
That's right, guys. And again, make sure you hit that notification bell and make sure you don't miss an episode of HSP here on Give It a Shot Network. I've been putting out a lot of content, hit over 40K on the IG. So we want to thank you guys for following us there. Thank you very much. And again, we're going to actually even made up a HSP minute for Give Us a Shot on our IG. So trying to think of all kinds of content for you. And I think the WrestlePalooza live show was a good start. I think we'll do more of those because we're doing it on the IG live. I mean, thank you for doing that. But to do it here on the Give It a Shot is always good to do as well. Puts us giving you more content on here. And that's why you subscribe to the channel too. So listen, man, let's just get straight to it because we talked about WrestlePalooza. I think we were kind of underwhelmed. We were kind of rational about it. But then WrestlePalooza gets a C by one of the writers, Andreas Hale, and it causes a whole commotion because that is ESPN kind of like dump on their product that they're paying for, and it just started a whole storm of like WWE staff wondering like, why would ESPN do that? Ha ha ha! WWE, you guys are oversaturating your stuff, and you get a Saturday Night's Main Event instead of a WrestlePalooza. I get it, but I cannot believe just how much that news cycle for WrestlePalooza was. Trends that are talking about like WrestlePalooza was on a Saturday. And we're getting into like even Thursday, and people were still crapping about the Brock Lesnar John Cena match. It's probably one of those PLEs. It's probably going to be maybe the worst PLE of 2025 as far as expectations were. And the fact that we're still talking about it, and there's like still residuals from the Brock and Cena match, and then just being underwhelming, and in fact of getting bad reviews is from ESPN. It just it's a news story. It's an event that's going to be talked about for the wrong reasons, right?
Yeah, but I think we spoke about it before, and I mentioned it even during once it was all over, and we're trying to be very professional and cordial. Although internally, we were probably really upset that it was such a lackluster event. I tried to say it's it was a good show. It wasn't great, but in terms of all the reaction behind it, listen, I felt that WrestlePalooza, from even despite the fact of the chaos that it was to even get the ESPN app to get connected to it, for we're not going to pay your somehow already had ESPN as a cable service, and to try to, it was just chaos in terms of chaos getting ready for this PLE, right? I thought it was doomed to fail right from the beginning because they had put so much in promoting it. And listen, it's easy to have low expectations for anything, but when you set expectations that high, and then we're talking about the rumors, and we're talking about Saudi Arabia, and then WrestleMania is going to be now out of the States, and now the scenario where rumors were going about and nothing official. that there could be the possibility that they could sell the rights to WrestleMania. And then now WrestlePalooza may be a replacement for that. All that stuff going in, I think it was doomed to fail right from the start. And for people who complain about the John Cena Brock Lesnar match, I mean, I would ask those individuals that really are upset about it, what were you expecting? Were you expecting a 5-star match? Were you expecting it to go the way it did? The only way it could have gone was the way it went down, but people are going to be upset because this is Cena's last run. You're going to destroy him? What else could you ask for? Him to win? It being a competitive match? What good would that do for a Brock Lesnar? In this scenario, it ended up the way I thought it was going to end up.
And then us finding out that Brock is going to be off TV for a while, and people were still complaining, saying like, "Well, how does that help John Cena?" Well, it doesn't, because John Cena is not going to be here at the end of the year. Brock is, and it's to make him a monster, in order to build up a superstar like a Braun Breaker, like a Gunther possibly. But that's what it's for. This is kind of like the Brock Lesnar run where he defeated Cena, he ended the streak. And I think it's just building up, and it was for to make Roman Reigns eventually. So it's just amazing that WrestlePalooza we're still talking about it. I didn't want to lead up to it, but I just feel like we had to like put a ribbon on it and just bury it now, because I think now there's nothing else more to talk about. Let's move on to Crown Jewel.
Well, as we put a button on it, Jeff, just real quick, what were your expectations? Did it end up where you wanted it to end up?
I said it on the I said it on the live, is that on the recap show, that you, in your mind, you book it yourself, and you take a look at whether Easter eggs, or you try to look at any kind of, like, for example, again, to end up on WrestlePalooza, to end it, I was it was not worth the hassle that we went through the hour before to get it. It's just the excitement of like the possibility of something happening and us waiting for it. I think we overwhelm ourselves, and then we underwhelm ourselves at the end because things didn't happen. And whether it's WWE's fault, which Triple H kind of should take the blame because you overhyped it. I guess you have to, as a promoter, you have to overhype your event. It's fine. But then we in our minds think something's going to happen every time. And in a company that's been built on moments the last several PLEs, we thought something's going to happen. A title change, something. It's a perfect spot for Drew to win a championship. And then we find out that Cody and Randy came up with this brilliant idea. I think it was brilliant to have Drew win it here at a shocking factor, and then start this freaking Randy and Cody feud that we've been waiting for 2 freaking years. But I mean, like, and then today you see it, and then we see Randy looking at the title. How many freaking times you look at that title? And then you have Randy Orton's wife, who kind of liked a comment on Instagram saying that Randy Orton's been kind of disrespected. He's on the PLEs, and here I am thinking that Randy's got this great schedule that's on and off, start and stop with him, and it's the company that's doing it. So, yeah, it's underwhelming. It's a little bit. It makes you angry a little bit, but move on. It's time, and then here's the thing, Translator. Here's where we let ourselves down. And probably the only thing we'll talk about Dynamite. When they wrote Edge off this week, people were like, "Oh my God, he's going to be seen as opponent. He's going to show
match,
yeah." And this, like, what the hell? Like, there's no way that Tony Khan. First of all, there's no way that his contract would be up this October because injury time. You think Tony Khan's not going to give him injury time after he broke his leg last year, right? And then, like, do you think Tony Khan's going to bend over backwards for WWE, or this? It would be unprecedented. And then after, WWE's trying to put him out of business and counter program him, you think that coked up that he's going to like allow Edge to go and be his last opponent and make WWE money? That's nuts. There's no way that WWE would do it on the opposite end either. But yet we allow ourselves to make the graphics, to make all this stuff, and to get the clicks and be like, imagine, what if? Oh my God, not going to lie, I need Edge. And then, of course, Cena and Edge doing their tributes back and forth, which adds fuel to the fire. But that's what they're supposed to do. But then we fall for it, and then we get ourselves disappointed and let down. Because why? Because that's what we do. So to put a ribbon on, like, Trent said, when you saw the Edge and Cena stuff, you had to be laughing. And I'm just like, oh, people want clicks. People just want to get likes and everything like that. There's no way that was going to happen ever. I was even going to do a minute on it. But then I was like, if I have to do a minute to explain to you why this will never happen, are you guys really wrestling fans? Or are you just like living in this like dream world?
Nah, you would have been wasting your time, or you would have followed the trend, hence my name, the trendsetter, to just do what everyone else was talking about. I had no belief at all, any doubt that this was not gonna happen. It just made no absolute sense. Now, do I think it's being done around the same time to have people talk about it? Yes, which is why everyone was talking about it. But any belief that's going to happen, I have 100% no belief that that's ever going to happen. If that were to be the case, if somehow there's going to be this bridge built across AEW after everything's been going on between the two companies, the shots being taken by Tony and vice versa, with the counter programming to kind of hurt AEW, you would think Tony Khan would be the biggest moron in the world to let that happen. Not going to happen. You can dream about all you want, but it's so funny too, because you talked about Brock Lesnar, talked about guys like Roman Reigns last couple weeks ago too. It's like when they're on your program, you so quickly want to get them off. You're like, oh, why can't we let somebody else take the spot? And then when they're gone, you miss them. And for the longest time, and I know the mixed feelings about a guy like Brock Lesnar, for example, but how we discussed it before, he is for me, what I called him, a generational talent. You called him a special attraction. When he's gone completely, regardless of what you think of him, you're going to miss him. Same thing with Roman Reigns. You're going to miss him. Edge was there. Now, yes, it was a lot of issues with the creative of WWE, not really having anything for him, but he was there, and you had opportunities, and he didn't. Why would WWE now take the chance of like, well, we let you go to AEW because we didn't want to re-sign you to a more exclusive deal than what he was being offered in AEW. Go there. To bring him back for Cena's last match makes no sense to me.
It really doesn't. And again, the fact that people are getting their hopes up and stuff like that,
it's ridiculous.
The
How
issue,
people were like, "Oh man, this really? Are we thinking logically?
I need this one more time. I have to have it. Guys, like, come on, let's live in a reality here, folks, where we can actually talk about stuff that actually can happen."
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean I was not going to spend a minute on that, nor waste my time editing because it's a pain in the ass. But
I know.
yeah, though, and so just put on a ribbon on WrestlePalooza. We did that, and if you want to go back to the archives and watch our post show, you can definitely go back on the Give a Shot Network and check it out there. But I really wanted to talk about SmackDown, and we'll get to our NXT No Mercy preview. We'll talk a little odds and ends too, from Raw and SmackDown as well, and NXT because they're heading now into No Mercy. But SmackDown, and we should probably do a podcast on this. What's wrong with SmackDown all of a sudden? Not all of a sudden, I'm sorry. Like, it's been a while now, and we thought that the answer is going to be, hey, 2-hour show, because 3 hours is just craziness. And now it seems like that still a lot of people think it's a bad show. I don't want to get on Road Dogg Brian James. I don't want to blame that stuff, but there's something missing on that show, because now Raw, to me, is now the show to watch. And I'm saying it by a mile, because Raw's got its kind of issues as well, but Raw to me now is the A show again. And SmackDown, we get stuck in this feud where Tiffany Stratton should be praised for her run as the women's champion. I think they said it a lot, where she's been undefeated for the year, and that's impressive. They're building her up. But in a company which is renowned or boasts itself for having the best women's roster, the best women's division, most of her matches have been against Nia Jax and Jade Cargill. So what is going on there? Why is there no creativity and building up more females there? Now, listen, I offhand, I don't know who's on SmackDown, but you're telling me that that's all you have? And watching this match here, I thought that this match was good. And I'm going to praise Jade Cargill, because every match she keeps getting better and better. That Samoan drop that she did on Nia Jax, listen, 2 years ago, I'd be no way I'm going to let you do that to me. But she did it. She landed flat on her back on the steps, rolled back, busted her eye open, the top of her eye. But I mean, Jade was not going to win that. It was Tiffany. So I don't understand. I told you it's now or never for Jade when this match was going to happen, supposedly at WrestlePalooza, and then they moved it over. Now I don't know when Jade is going to get her opportunity. See, there's a way to progress her and make her look good by coming close, but now she's coming up short like Drew here. And when is she going to win? I don't know if I'm going to be that emotionally invested, but there's a lot here, trendsetter. But are you surprised that this SmackDown women's roster? Like, I can't praise Tiffany Stratton enough. But again, too, the attack on it is going to be, or the counterattack is going to be, well, I mean, has she really had an impressive run because of who she's faced? Nia Jax and Jade Cargill. I mean, what do you think of the women's division on SmackDown right now?
Listen, I think the praise that I'm going to give Tiffany Stratton, regardless of what you think about the run, Jeff, or in terms of the quality of opponent she's had, I'm going to decipher her title reign whenever it does come to an end in terms of success, because she's had to deal with, let's be honest, a limited roster. The reason why you're saying that Raw is now an A show is that when I look at Raw, I see more star power on Raw than I do on SmackDown. When you go to SmackDown, for example, you'll see the same matchups over and over again. So it doesn't matter if it's a 3-hour show, a 2-hour show, or even a 1-hour show. It's the same rinse and repeat that we've complained about during old regimes that's happening now on SmackDown. Before SmackDown, honestly, even before it was a 3-hour show, it became kind of unwatchable to that point, was a better quality show because I felt there were more stars, more quality wrestling, more quality storylines on that side of the brand. Now it seems like all that attention has been head over to Raw, maybe rightfully so because of the Netflix deal. So they want all their action, all their stars to be on that side of it. Okay, I get it. But for Tiffany, I praise her not just because of the wins and she's been undefeated, like they've stated on TV. Look, she's had to face Nia Jax. Nia Jax isn't the best in ring. I'll give her credit. She has improved tremendously from her last run to coming back now. It really seems like she's put in the time and the effort to get better in there. But all that has to also do with Tiffany as well. Tiffany has to elevate and get up to that level, and she has. She's made Nia look amazing, including herself. And with Jade Cargill, dude, at SummerSlam, and then this rivalry, as much as Jade is being shown, and they're really promoting her now as, wow, she has it all. Not necessarily so, guys, but she has that look about her that we've talked about before, that an it factor quality about her. Tiffany is making her look like $1 million, and that's in terms of protection for her. So now they're really, you could definitely tell from programming, they're really making it as Jade now is this threat to Tiffany, which I feel is kind of a little bit disrespectful because Tiffany should not be looked at as an underdog at all because she's shown her dominance. She's shown she can get in there with really anybody, but the only two she's really been in there with has been Nia and Jade. So if people are going to question her title reign because of the lack of opponents, well, that's programming. That's creative's fault. That's not Tiffany's fault. I think all the matches she's had, including SummerSlam, which was a quick match, have been great. Now, this last one with the triple threat match, it was going well until the botch at the end with the referee. I don't know whether Nia didn't decide to kick out. She forgot.
I think Jade was supposed to pull the referee or something like that. I think
Jade or something was supposed to happen. It was messed up and it ruined what I thought was a really good match. But anyway, we got what we wanted towards the end in terms of what's going to happen at Crown Jewel, which is talking a few. But I think Tiffany deserves her flowers. She's not going to be looked at from a total internet wrestling community as a success, but I think it is because look who she's had to work with, and yet she still elevated her game to that point. So I think it was a success, and I think she's not really given the respect or in terms of the legitimacy, even though she is the champion.
And why is this women's SmackDown roster so light? And again, like I've said this, and
Julia, for God's sakes, on this, and we're not showcasing her either. So,
and I don't want to. But she's in a tag team matchup with Kiana James, and she's the U.S. Women's Champion. She should not be in that. She should be in the world title picture in the mix. And the fact that she's not built up to that is disgraceful. It really is, because it's funny because you see Julia, and then you see Stephanie Vicaire, who defeated Io Sky, and then she comes in and we get the face-to-face, and then when we're talking about it and we're booking this, what makes the best matchup for Crown Jewel? The best match would be Tiffany Stratton and Stephanie Vicaire, and that's what we're going to get. So at Crown Jewel, it's official. It's going to be Tiffany Stratton and Stephanie Vicaire, and that's a dream matchup right there. I mean, Tiffany Stratton is red hot.
That's what it is.
Huh?
It's a dream. That's what it is. I don't care about the match. It's a dream.
It is amazing. That's all I'm going to say. Looking forward to this one. And here's the thing:
100%.
It's not for either championship. It's for the Crown Jewel Women's, the championship for women's. You can book this whichever way you want to. I don't think it'll hurt anybody. But I'm going to say right now, if I were to pick an early winner, because it's only 2 weeks away, right now I think Tiffany Stratton is going to be Stephanie Vicaire. What do you think?
I think so too. I'll give my reasons when we break it down more, but
Exactly.
I think it has to be Tiffany Stratton
Yeah.
for this particular reason. But again, you said a dream match, any dream match for any male fan out there. I'm definitely be paying attention to this one. But yeah, no, in terms of these two women can go in the ring the first time they face each other. So it'd be interesting to see how they all work together. Listen, Stephanie has been known to be able to work with anybody really well. And I think Tiffany's built up that rep since her time in NXT coming up to the main roster that she can really do everything too. Now, again, a lot of people throw the whole Charlotte Flair match out there. Regardless of that, I still think she lives up to that par. So it's going to be a challenge for Tiffany now because there's going to be a lot of doubters to step up her game. But I think Tiffany really needs this one too. But looking forward to that, man. That one is literally a fantasy matchup.
The moment that I cannot wait is for Stephanie McCary to put Devil's Kiss on Tiffany Stratton. That's going to be the moment of 2025. When we look back on everything like that, that will be the moment of 2025. Yes, the Rhea Ripley one was tremendous, but this one's going to surpass it. I cannot wait. I'm looking forward to 2 weeks for the Devil's Kiss. All right, SmackDown. Listen again. Sami Zayn. I've had issues with Sami Zayn because I always felt that organic push should have been done a couple years ago when he was part of the Bloodline. And now I kind of felt like it was pushed on us, this whole Sami Zayn push that they're doing now. And I wasn't really finding myself rooting for Sami as I normally do because I love Sami Zayn. But this U.S. Open challenge, which I think it's an easy way to bring in other people to get over or to showcase them, which I like it, and that's why I like the U.S. Open Challenge. I hate gauntlet matches, I hate that kind of stuff, but the Open Challenge is good. And we got Javon Evans, who is going to be wrestling this weekend against Josh Briggs, so he's pulling double duty, and the guy's super talented, Javon Evans. Really, this is probably the best match, and I think U.S. Open Challenge is saving SmackDown a lot. And I'm rooting for Sami because I think this is making you root for Sami because actually he's carrying the show. That's what you look forward to, this U.S. Open Challenge. And so I think that Javon Evans is super talented. I don't know what's going on in NXT where he's kind of just floating there and just losing a lot. I think right now the issue with the company is that they're building people up and then they lose and then there's no answers afterwards. Take a Drew McIntyre, take a look at Jade. Javon Evans kind of fall into that thing in NXT, but then you build him up here, and you can make a case for the guy that he's ready now to come on SmackDown. He is somebody that's super young too, and I could honestly say to you, he is the future of this company because you can definitely build around this guy. And there's no more evidence than him and Sami Zayn tonight. They put on a tremendous match.
What can I say about this one right now? With Javon, yeah, super talented guy. But I'm going to go to say that there's just something about him. As much as he's how talented he is, he definitely has a connection with the audience. So I'm not going to even deny that. But for me, I just don't feel that he's in that main event not main event caliber. Let me rephrase that. He's not at that status right now to go to the main roster. I feel the way he's been booked in NXT is very questionable right now. And also to be in the US Open Challenge, to lose that. Now, let's get back to the point here Jeff have made several times on the show, right? Wins and losses don't really do matter in wrestling. I get it. People say that a lot, but the perception is there. So you saw his match with Obafemi, loses that. Then goes on with Josh Briggs in NXT, loses that. I mean, but him losing, I guess they're trying to build up this rapport with the audience, trying to root for him. He's this underdog, but when you have him lose these types of matches and then go for the U.S. Open Challenge, and you knew he wasn't going to win that regardless, but put in a great match with Sami. Great, good for Sami. I'm kind of indifferent about him right now because I kind of agree with you too in terms of I feel it's been kind of forced a little bit, and I also feel that the U.S. Open Challenge, as nice as it is, paying homage to John Cena, who started that thing, it's great to bring in young talent, have people come in, but I think it's a cop-out sometimes, Jeff, because it's just defeating the purpose that, okay, you're not going to put in the effort to create a storyline for the U.S. title as we do the Intercontinental title. Again, even in this regime, Jeff, we're having issues with these secondary titles meaning something. I don't understand why that is becoming such a challenge. Maybe it's something we can dissect in the later podcast, but it's amazing to me that you put forth the effort for the women to do that, and then you have Julia in a tag match, and it means absolutely nothing. And the scenario with Becky Lynch, and you're having her trying to make the Intercontinental title for women mean something because of her name. And you have the men's championships, the United States Intercontinental title. And right now, if the storyline's going, it's becoming, in my mind, completely meaningless. So, Javon, yes, does he have the future? Is he going to be on the main roster? Is he going to be a star? I don't know what kind of quality. I just don't see what
You don't see it.
I don't see that it factor in him. I just don't. Super talented, athletic, has amazing matches, great. But I just don't see that with him right now. I don't have that connection with him.
What makes me think about Javon is if NXT doesn't believe in him, how am I going to believe in him on the main roster? I think that's the thing. I was like, yes, I can see him compete in these things, but can I see him win the big one? And right now, you take a look at the guys that are on that show. You talk about Carmelo Hayes. You talk about people that are being underutilized. Is he just going to become another person on that roster? And think about this: maybe if it was 2.5 hours, maybe it would be better. But these 2 hours are killing it. The tag team division is suffering. The women's division is suffering. And the thing is, if it was 3 hours, though, it'd be a boring show because there's just no excitement.
It would suffer for 3 hours.
Maybe 2.5 hours is the way to go. I don't know if USA would want that extra half hour. I don't know how that helps the ratings or anything like that. But yeah, there's issues on SmackDown, man. But tonight, at least, it was enjoyable. But again, that matchup with Tiffany Stratton was good. And then you had, unfortunately, that mishap towards the end where the referee didn't count to 3. And here's an issue here too: if you're the referee, you don't feel that pull out from the you can be pulled out. Just count to 3. Tiffany was going to win anyways. She just wasn't going to win with the Prius moonsault ever. That's it.
I don't claim to know everything, Jeff, but I've always was told by other people that have been confident and people who have worked within the company. You know who I'm referring to. I'm not going to mention his name. It's not worth mentioning. But in a scenario like that, no, it's true. He's not worth mentioning.
Loser.
Ever. He's a loser. But in a scenario like that, if that doesn't happen, you count to 3 regardless, because that is your job to do it. And the mere fact that she held it purposely right when the cameras were in front of her, Nia turning her, it just completely looked chaotic. You couldn't cover it up. Michael Cole couldn't say, "Oh, the shoulder." It was plain as sight that it was paused because something was supposed to happen and it didn't. But if you're the ref, you got to count to 3. It's not your job to stop. It's your job. It's the other person, whoever was responsible for doing it, their job to do it. So it was bad.
Cody's angle continues with division. Him and Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker. And then Paul Heyman again too. Is he an advocate? Is he an oracle? Is he a wise man? That's Cody's. That's the way he's attacking this one, trying to plant the seeds into Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker. And you know what? That Cody politician thing, it's really true. He is really good at planting those seeds in those little minds in the brains of people, man. Like, he's really good at that. So we'll see what happens there. You can't trust Paul Heyman, dude. When has he ever shown that you can trust him? He's all about him. It's definitely one thing we know. And then Jacob Fatu and Drew McIntyre, we were thinking where Drew's going to go, and it looks like him and Jacob Fatu. And there's another guy. Where has he been, right? Where is this Jacob Fatu who could do no wrong? And now, like, that U.S. Championship was like a hindrance to him, and you haven't seen him since a long-ass time. So hopefully. Oh, I know. In that matchup. Oh, my God. That
steel cage match. Which meant nothing because Solo loses the title.
I don't remember any of that match. I think I was just looking around and being like, man, I'm so happy. I guess that's where I was at. I zoned out during that match. I can honestly say that.
You're not the only one. There are a lot of people that zoned out for something that was built up with so much anticipation when you just looked at it on paper. But the story building up to it was horrible. It was just horrible.
So Raw, that's SmackDown. Then we got to Raw. Of course, Stephanie McCare became the women's champion, the world champion, and a little surprising it should be Io. But hey, listen, happy for her. She deserves it. And now they're really behind Stephanie McCare, which is a good sign. Io Sky, though, is going to be trusted to be in this Asuka feud along with Rhea Ripley in this kind of little triangle that they got going on. And it's very curious because this is kind of going into this stepping. You're not a fan. You're not a fan of this angle.
Not a fan of this. No.
I think this is the most compelling stuff, that they have on Raw. I think I loved Io's reaction. They're making her be the person in between, like the prize, and you can see her, her crying and all that stuff. And I guess because people resonate with Io and they root for her and they just feel that compassion for her. I think that's why she's great to be put in the middle. Uh, Asuka's a legend. That was a great match with Rhea, and I know how you feel about Rhea. So
I
this is
love Rhea. What are you talking about?
well, I mean, especially no, well, the kind of like oversaturation of Rhea. I know you like Rhea. I know she's great and everything like that, but um, I think this is compelling stuff. I love Asuka's heel turn. I think that this is. I want to see what happens next week. I think it's going to lead to a tag team match, and the fact that Kairi Sane is kind of being loyal to Asuka because she brought them there, and even Io being heartbroken because of her respect and love for Asuka too. I think that this is. I'm giving this a shot, and I think that I'm looking forward to this Monday night, especially because of this whole triangle here. And I think we're going to get a tag team match. I'm not sure if we're going to get Crown Jewel, or eventually we're going to get this tag team match where Rhea and Io take on Asuka and Kairi Sane.
Listen, with Kairi Sane, she's emotional because she's fallen in the line. She understands and the respect value, which I think. Listen, by the way, I think Asuka did an amazing job when I think she went out of her way. I could be wrong. I mean, I'm sure a lot of people are saying that, but now we'll be taking back that it was done creatively by WWE. Her going on YouTube or social media outside the norm of character and kind of just explaining the rankings of what happens in Japanese wrestling, right? That it was Asuka and then came Kairi and then Io Sky, and it's kind of a ranking system that she's an elder or somebody to be held respectful because she was there first, right? So Kairi is falling into that order too, although she may not agree with Asuka, but she's showing that level of respect to Asuka because she's a legend, like you said, right? She's an amazing things in NXT when she came over from Japan and kind of made a name for herself and allowed people like Io Sky to be in the position she's in. Now, I'm not taking away from the effort Io Sky has done to get herself to this position, what she's done in NXT as well herself, and on the main roster when she was part of Damage Control. But let's be honest too. If Io's so emotional, she has nobody to blame but herself. I'm talking about this as a storyline standpoint. She has nobody to blame but herself because she went against that ranking system. And so this is the end result of it. I don't think we're being oversaturated by Rhea Ripley, Jeff. I love Rhea Ripley. I think she is a sweetheart of a person. She's gorgeous. She's amazing. She's that star factor quality that every single time that music hits, that crowd goes wild. And you can't manufacture that. You can't manipulate that. You can't fill that in like crowd noise. That's just authentic because I think Rhea has been that way. What I can't stand right now when I'm shaking my head and I'm like, this is horrible, is that all right, this is the direction, and I understand characters evolve, Jeff. I'm not naive enough not to believe that, right? But when you go from what we looked at Rhea Ripley, her being that star, right, and she showed signs of respect when she was NXT coming up as a baby face too, but she was this badass, cool badass that didn't showcase a lot of emotion. And so when you had her in the Judgment Day, her being mommy and all these sinister and horrible things that she did, which ended up making her be beloved by the audience. One second, and what she did to Liv Morgan, and how she justifies what she did to Liv Morgan, and yet it gets done back to her. And then the scenario where she feels betrayed by Bianca Belair, because you think you're supposed to be friends, and it's women take all, and she had her very right to become number one contender at WrestleMania, and then Rhea
It's just
sneaked her way in.
it's just a lesson we get. But the thing is, Trendsetter, is that it's the baby face. It's showing her that she has a soft spot. If she was a heel,
baby face? Are you serious?
yeah, I
Oh, I
mean,
didn't know that. I didn't know she's a baby face. Jeff, it takes away from the fact of what she is. I don't want to see this emotional, so much for staying away from me. I don't care about this respect thing. I want Rhea Bloody Ripley the way I want to see her. And I just think right now doing this, just again, the crowd loves her. I'm just not a fan of this version of Rhea Ripley. That's all I'm saying.
do you think this has, to me?
I'm sure there's gonna be somebody on there saying, "Keep Rhea Ripley's name out of your mouth." No, I won't, guys. No, I won't.
And again, it's not. It's the storyline. It's the
Yeah.
booking of her, and it's a baby face where she has a soft spot. And
You understand that, but some don't.
yeah, exactly. Oh,
Yeah.
how dare you speak bad of Rhea Ripley, which we're not. This has kind of an undertone of a it's got a different tone. You see people making the videos like a love story. It kind of has that kind of love story tone too as well. And
I've
I'm all
seen the
for it.
videos.
I'm all
Very
for it.
creative. Yeah.
I'm all for it. To me, I have no problem with it. I mean, but it does have a love story kind of to it, like a growing love, and that's fine if it's friendship or if people think of it the other way. But I see it. I'm not blind to it. It does seem very much pushes that line towards romantic. So I have no problem with it. I'm all for it. But it's good that they sometimes cross. I mean, they're not throwing it in your face, but they are throwing innuendos and they are letting you use your imagination. And I think that's fine as well. But there definitely is a connotation of a romantic kind. Now, whether you think it's out of respect or admiration, that's fine. But I see it too that where it could be a romanticizing of something, and it's not bad. It's not a bad thing either, as well. It's nice pushing that because I don't think anybody in wrestling here, at least in the United States, has done it like that.
Listen, I think what we're
Other
going to get.
than James.
Yeah, nobody in the United States has done that. We've seen that in Japan with the Golden Lovers,
Yeah.
for example, in that scenario, and how that was controversial. People talked about it in a certain way of how that angle was going. I completely understand that, Jeff, but I'm curious to see that. I definitely feel we're going to get that at Crown Jewel. We're going to get a tag match between the Kabuki Warriors and Rhea and Io Sky. So it's going to be entertaining, But if the payoff is Io getting her independence from Asuka and that leading to Asuka and Io, okay, I'm all for it. I just don't know where this whole thing lies with Rhea. And because again, my mindset is I want Rhea to do something else other than this because I'm sure everyone wants to see her in the title picture. I'm sure they're possibly saving that. But in terms of this storyline, I'm just not a fan of it. I really am. I appreciate what they're doing. I'm not naive enough not to understand it, like how you're talking about. I get it. I understand she's a baby face. They're doing this. But it's like, for example, when you would see, and I know it's not a fair comparison when I say it, Jeff, right? But when you see like the Shawn Michaels, the Rocks, and the Austins, I'm not comparing them to Rhea Ripley, although there is that star quality behind it. When they became baby faces, they were still cool badasses in a different version. They didn't veer off too much of what they were, their character was. I think that's what's happening right now. That for me, at least, they're veering so far off what Rhea Ripley was in the eyes of a lot of people to what she is now. To me, it's unrecognizable now.
I like that angle. It's a different take because I see it and the crowd still loves her. I think and there's to me nothing's changed in the fact where like there's people that are not excited when she comes out. I still think the energy's there, but that's an interesting take on it as far as character direction. And I totally get that, and I don't disagree with you. I don't, but obviously this is their babyface direction for WWE that they want for Rhea Ripley. That she has that soft side, that sensitive side, that compassionate side too. Because again, she's friendly a lot now backstage area. Again, she gets along she's getting along with Nikki Bella, with Stephanie Becker. It's not just a eel thing too. She's just more interaction with the women's locker room where normally she wouldn't do that when she was mommy and she was like you said, like she was a Rhea Ripley. She just wanted to tear people apart because the only thing in her path was the women's world championship, right? I totally get that. So we'll see what happens, but most likely looking forward to Monday Night Raw and see how this evolves and see when we get that tag team match. Listen, AJ Styles and John Cena. We were talking about WrestlePalooza, and we were talking about how John Cena now is taking control now of his farewell tour. Whether it's WWE created, and they're letting the fans think that they built up this match because they wanted to
I
see.
love how you say this real quick
Yeah,
because everyone thinks he was in charge of everything when he wasn't.
yeah, and now finally, I guess they've seen the displeasure, but the fact that they're booking this and letting you fans think that you guys were the ones that they heard your voices, you reached out, and we hear you, WWE Universe, and you created this matchup, like Michael Cole said, with AJ Styles and John Cena, which is official. AJ Styles and John Cena at Crown Jewel. I mean,
Ooh.
this is and listen, we don't need the Miz involved here. I know he's disappointed that he's not going to get a shot at John Cena, but I don't think putting the Miz in this match. No offense to Miz, I love you, you're awesome, dude. But we want to see this one last time. We want to see John Cena and AJ Styles. I don't care if you put the Miz in because you want to see him take the pin and stuff like that. I want John Cena and AJ Styles. This to me is the matchup. This to me gets the feud back, gets the farewell tour back to where it was supposed to be. It's about being nostalgia and maybe trying to build a star or two here. You only got 5 more dates. Trendsetter, once this is over, All right, forget about who wins or loses, whatever. Once this is over, there's only 4 more dates for John Cena. That is it. Oh, and by the way, I did not want. Again, all these things that come up, right?
Yeah.
First of all, are you excited for AJ and John Cena? Is one-on-one the way to go? And then I'll get to the other question.
100%.
Yeah.
Listen, if we're going to end this on the nostalgia tour, which I thought majority of wise, you and I thought when he had announced his retirement and the certain amount of dates he had, we kind of felt it was going to be a nostalgia act or kind of, finishing off things that were there before with the Randy Ortons, the CM Punks, for example, and now AJ Styles. I think we're getting obviously too late. The reality is when you look at it, and I hope people look at it from this perspective, and I'll elaborate more when we break down the match card, but I'll just say this, Jeff. When you look at this, right, and you look at, for example, his last match with CM Punk, his final match with Randy Orton, this one means a lot because this was in a different scenario where it did a lot for both men, especially at different stages in their careers. One was still trying to acclimate themselves to WWE. One had been the standard of what WWE was. So with this, these two just have magic together. I know they're at an advanced age, but still, regardless of that, I think they still have this thing that you can't buy nowadays, which is just genuine chemistry with one another. It just works. It just clicks. It's a compliment to both men, right? I'm going to really watch this one, and I'm just going to sit back. I'm going to put the phone down, and I'm just going to watch it and enjoy it because this is literally the last time. And we've heard what AJ Styles has said that, and he plans on retiring in 2026. So let's appreciate for those that listen. I'll always respect John Cena as a man. Can't say I was always a fan of his character, the way he was booked and stuff like that. That's a discussion for another time, in which I'll dive more into that if we have time to do it. With AJ Styles as well. What an amazing individual that comes once in a lifetime, I feel, in terms of what he brings to it. So as a fan, I'm going to enjoy this because I know not only is the last time these two are going to face each other, but I know the end is already set for John Cena. We know 4 after this, which is hard to believe now that we've come to this point. And with AJ Styles, it's only a matter of time now as that happens. So very emotional, and it can be very gratifying for us fans for nostalgia and just enjoy for what it is, guys. I could care less who wins or loses. I think regardless, I don't think it hurts either one. I know they want to fit in the Miz, like you said, to kind of have him take the pin. But regardless of that, I think.
Oh no, just because people are talking because the Miz.
Yeah.
Because the Miz was on, and again, I get his gripe. He's mad because he's happy for AJ and John, but he wants to be in this matchup too, or he would love to be taking on John Cena, but it just can't happen. And then people are talking about, let's add more dates. Oh, well, let's push it to WrestleMania. I would love to. I think WrestleMania is, for a guy like John Cena, it should be the end. It shouldn't be a day in December 13th at the Capitol One Arena. You know what I mean? Like, to me, when you end a career like that, it should be WrestleMania. Heaven forbid, I don't want him to end it in Saudi. All right, and I'm pretty sure they're gonna pay him. I'm sure they're gonna pay him a lot of money to fight at Saudi too for that Mania. But that's for some other day. But I would love for John Cena to end it at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
I really would. To me, that's where it should end. And to extend it a few more months and add more dates, I would have no problem with it. It wouldn't bother me if they did. But, he's got Hollywood commitments. He gave him this amount. For John Cena, also his body, we only say 4 months, but John's still putting out good matches. But, his body, I'm pretty sure his mind is already set. I think December 13th is it. So I would have no problem if they added more dates. I think John Cena should end his career at WrestleMania. That to me, his final match should be the main event of night 1 or 2, most likely 2, and that should be the ribbon. That should be it. There, to me, December 13th. Again, when I think about it, especially now that we're closing down to 4 more dates, it should end at WrestleMania. It really should.
No, I agree too. I thought it was going to. I was real surprised when it wasn't, because when he had announced it, like, this is my final WrestleMania, like, oh wow. And then for the way it ended in Las Vegas and the butcher of a match that was at WrestleMania, which didn't live up to any expectations in terms of him being heel, breaking Ric Flair's record. Now, that would have been a great way to go out if you were just John Cena, the champion, babyface, whatever you want to call it. Cool. But yeah, it's going to be bittersweet, I'm sure, for a lot of fans to see the fact that come next year's WrestleMania, he's not going to be a part of it. That's understandable. So, because it's been documented before. He has been part of WrestleManias before because of his commitments to Hollywood. But to end WrestleMania, your career of WrestleMania, on that note, you broke the record. But what a horrible main event that was! How much people hated that match. Man, if again, I can't compare myself to John Cena, but that would fester in my mind that's the way I ended my WrestleMania career. Oh, I would hate that. I would love to make up for it because you're going to be in Las Vegas again to kind of make up for it, redemption. But I don't think it's going to happen. John Cena seems to be the kind of person, Jeff, that when he makes his mind up and says, this is the last time, it is the last time. He's not going to do it. You could throw as much money. I don't think the Saudis have enough money for him to change his mind.
Well, we'll see. I mean, because that's going to be something on the table when you get to 43 in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, because they got a lot of cash. Don't surprise The Rock wrestles too. Trendsetter. Obviously you got NXT No Mercy. So we're just gonna go through these matches here. But the story is that Jasmine Nix decided not to re-up with WWE, so they decided not to renew her deal. They couldn't come up with a cash offer. He kind of found out what NXT people get paid, about $75,000 or something like that, which is a little surprising that they're not in the six-figure deals and stuff like that. But listen, it's not my business what they accept or what they get paid. So kind of surprising. I thought she had a look, obviously, but sometimes money is an issue here. And for what she was doing, maybe they just felt, okay, well, we'll just cut our losses. But they wanted her back. She just didn't want to come back at that offer. I respect her decision. She'll be missed as far as with not toxic attraction, with the fatal influence. But hey, it just happens, right? It's a revolving door. And it's on to the next. But for the time being, though, it's gonna be tough not to see her on my TV because Jasmine Nix was Roll Tide.
Listen, she was easy in the eyes, no question about it. Respect her decision. It's not easy to make that decision. Most people would be like, dude, just take the money. Why would you do that? Why would you leave a company like that and have the potential to do something else? But again, depends on the individual. Don't know much about it because we didn't really see much of her. Only part of the group. When we did see in the ring, I thought she was pretty good, but again, not enough for me to say she probably would have be given more or whatever the case might be. But listen, whether she decides to continue this type of career in the future, decides that this is it, we don't know. But listen, I think she was great in that group. I think despite in-ring stuff, there's great chemistry around the three of them, and I think it worked. But yeah, like I said, so unfortunately, when things like that happen, it's you move on, written off TV, and the next person steps up, whoever that next person will be of the group.
And sorry, guys, I got bad news for you. She's not doing OnlyFans, so sorry about that. All right, Trendsetter, so let's go with this card. NXT No Mercy from Fort Lauderdale, Florida, this weekend coming up. And let's start off North American Championship, All Ego Ethan Page, who to me is, again, you talk about people that Tony's fumbled, Tony Khan. This guy to me is just amazing, entertaining. And now he takes on Tavion Heights, a guy they're trying to build up. So I get that, but I just think Ethan Page right now is on a tremendous run. So I see Ethan Page coming out victorious.
100%. I think right now that's the route you go. Ethan, I think, on my opinion, has done an amazing job since he started with NXT. He's just shown how much of a commitment and what he's willing to do as a team player. Because, it would be hard to consider, Jeff, in the scenario that you come into the company, very shortly after you're in the company, you're NXT champion, you're the face of NXT. And then a lot of people will look at the North American, or in this case, the Canadian title, which is what he's not calling it, but
no, it's North American, but Canada.
Yeah. Exactly. He put the Canadian colors on it, of course, which always is great heat. But a lot of people will look at that as a demotion, and a lot of people will kind of treat it that way and not be as enthusiastic. But that hasn't deterred him one bit. So definitely happy for him. Have him out coming victorious in this, and I just think right now, for a secondary title that they've done a pretty good job of making some type of significance of how important it is to the NXT championship. I feel if you put that on Ethan, he's just going to take it to other levels. And so completely happy for him. He comes out victorious and still after this match.
NXT Women's Speed Championship, Sol Ruca and Lainey Reed. There's rumors that Lainey Reed will be joining the Fatal Influence. So we'll see if that happens. But good source that she will be the one that will take Jasmine Nix's spot. Sol Ruca, obviously, what can you say about her? She's also main roster ready, in my opinion. Does she need this change? I don't think so. I think if Lainey Reed takes that title to the Fatal Influence, I think it'll make her, give her some kind of resume. So I'm going to go Lainey Reed defeating Sol Ruca, and somehow Zarya will kind of cost her by accident here. So I'll have Lainey Reed become the new Women's Speed champion.
I agree. I think Lainey Reed's going to come back victorious. I don't really feel, again, this isn't a shot at the Women's Speed Championship, but I don't really think Sol Ruca needs it. Ultimately, I think there seems to be some tension between her Zarya. So I think that's what's going to build up to. So Lainey Reed will win, and like Rumor said, she'll be part of Fatal Influence. I feel part of that group, which be a nice combination for her to be part of that group. But yeah, I don't see Sol Ruka retaining the title.
Javon Evans and Josh Briggs. I gotta listen, with all losing that Javon Evans has done, I gotta say that he comes out victorious here. And Josh Briggs has the look and everything like that, and getting heat. I'm gonna go with Javon Evans defeating Josh Briggs.
I'm actually going the opposite route. The way they've been booking so far right now, and I don't really
It's not good
the
news.
way they don't trust. I don't trust them right now, and I can't believe I would say this when it came to NXT. I don't trust right now. I think they're trying to really soak this up in terms of having this losing streak continue. I think Josh Briggs will come back victorious, and there's gonna be a scenario here where it's gonna be so bad that Javon Evans is gonna hit rock bottom that he ultimately explodes and becomes a heel, or he's gonna have the greatest underdog story in NXT history where he'll be like, listen, from the bottom down of like literally losing every single match and can't get a win to save his life, and something big will come out of it from a babyface side, or he'll turn completely heel. So I got Josh winning this one. They're going to keep dropping him down. That's what happens.
I get it if he turns to heel, but if not, I just think he just keeps losing the validity in front of the fans. Eventually, they're not going to put up with it.
No offense to Josh Briggs, such a what validity you have just beating Josh Briggs.
Hey, again, to me, I don't think this match should even be taking place. NXT Women's Championship, Lola Vice and JC Jane. I told you, an unsung hero has been JC Jane and what she's done with it. I didn't believe in her. I did not. And she's proven me wrong. And now she and Lola Vice. Listen, Lola Vice has been built up so much again here. The video package has been great. She's got the look. She's gone to AAA to do her thing, coming back here. So she's been open to everything, re-signed with the company. I think it's her time, man. I don't mind JC Jane coming back to chase. I don't mind that, but Lola Vice has got to get the win here.
I disagree. I think JC Jane's going to retain the title. Listen, as much as people might love Lola Vice, she's re-signed with the company. I get it. All that stuff, all the points you made, I completely understand it. But I think in a scenario like this, no offense to it, because it's NXT No Mercy. But if you're going to have at this point where people
Florida
thought,
too,
okay,
where she's from. She's from Florida, from Miami, so Fort Lauderdale's hop, skip, and a jump to where she's at and winning it there. I mean,
that doesn't matter.
How
many times have people wrestled in their hometown? Bailey, everyone loves Bailey in California and Sandy, and she's lost big matches too. So I think that means absolutely nothing in terms of this scenario and the situation. Worthless in terms of them doing that for her there. I think, because here's the thing: when I first saw JC Jane win it, I'm thinking, all right, she's gonna be a transitional champion. They really put a lot of stock in her. And I think if you built this much stock in her and you want to keep Fatal Influence more, influential in NXT, pun intended there, to take the title off of her now wouldn't make sense. At an event closer to maybe SummerSlam or Royal Rumble makes sense. WrestleMania for stand and deliver and stuff like that, I get it. I just don't think you do it now, because if you do it, it really puts the group in question, I feel, in terms of any legitimacy. Because if you have Lainey Reed win the Speed Championship and then she joins the group and then JC Jane's not the champion anymore, it kind of makes no sense to me. So I got JC retaining.
Jordan Grace and Blake Monroe in NXT Women's Weapons match, Steel Cage match. This is going to get bloody. This, to me, I think they're trying to, not desperately, but they're trying to recreate Toni Storm and Blake and obviously Mariah May. I think they're really trying to get it to this. I think Jordan Grace has kind of unlocked that, the woman from hell kind of thing, where obviously that to me is kind of like her reputation, when she was the champion in AEW against Toni Storm. So I think they're trying to unlock that. I don't want to go against Jordan Grace because she really hasn't had the best win-loss, and it hasn't, to me, been like a run where she stuck out to me. I thought she was going to make more of an impact, no pun intended there, but I thought she was going to do a little bit more. But I don't think it's going to be at the hindrance of Blake Monroe. So I think Blake Monroe defeats Jordan Grace, and I don't know where she goes from there. But I just don't think
Blake or Jordan.
I don't know where Jordan Grace goes after losing. I don't know. But I think Blake Monroe gets the victory here.
I'll tell you where she goes after this. SmackDown. You need more depth on the women's roster there on SmackDown. I mean, to see a Jordan Grace in a future potential match against, let's say, Jade Cargill or Nia Jax, or let's say Tiffany Stratton, I would see that. That'd be interested. But the unfortunate thing is that,
but you got to admit, her run in NXT has been not what you thought it was going to be.
100%. Like I said, the perception she had when she came from TNA, former Knockouts champion, and then basically being put in the scenario where you think, wow, she's going to be a dominant force now in NXT, and it didn't happen. And like you said, for the expense to sacrifice what they feel in Blake Monroe, and I agree with you here, where it kind of feels like they're trying to recreate the personal, the animosity, the viciousness of what a Tony Storm and Mariah May was in terms of the feud. With this, I think they're trying to replicate it. Unfortunately, those kind of things are just very special and come, through time, and you can't just replicate that. You just can't repeat, rinse and repeat. It's not going to work. It doesn't work here. I see Blake coming out victorious in this one, and no offense to Jordan or Blake, I just kind of want to see them apart from each other. And I think Blake needs to move on to something else, and Jordan, like I said, I don't know what else you would do with her in NXT. I think the impression was that when she came to the roster, she's going to be a women's champion. I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon in terms of a record in NXT. I think the only other option for Jordan would be maybe one more match with Blake, which I don't really want to see.
Yeah, I think this is
moving to the main roster and trying to do something on SmackDown.
All right, the last one, the NXT World Championship, Obafemi and Ricky Saints. I don't know what more Obafemi has to prove. I have no clue. This all hinders to me on how this invasion angle goes with TNA. I know Trick is going to eventually fight Mike Santana, I believe, for that TNA championship. So, Trick is not in here. But Obafemi, I don't know what he has more to prove. Listen, I want to go Ricky Saints, but I don't know if that's the way Oba's going to go out. I don't see a call up anytime soon, although he's ready, right? That's another guy that's ready. So as I think it's time maybe for Ricky Saints, I think Obafemi is going to. I don't think this is the last time they fight each other. So I think that Obafemi is going to defeat Ricky Saints.
Well, I think you know who I'm going to pick in this one.
I like
it's got to be Ricky Saints, because here's the thing with Obafemi, man. As much as you say he's roster ready, he's Raw ready,
no more to
SmackDown
prove.
ready, and he's got no more to prove. To your point, he has nothing further to prove. Him retaining the title, and listen, I might be wrong for saying this. I'm open to it, but I don't think I am. The reaction of the crowd, yes, they're chanting Obafemi, this and that, but I think it's getting stale. I think people are getting bored with it. I understand sometimes with, they say that about dominant champions like the Roman Reigns and the Brock Lesnar's and etc. Oh my God, he's always winning. But with this scenario here too, it's like, what good does it do for Obafemi to keep the title, except to make him again a dominant NXT champion and, to go in the record books as the most dominant NXT champion of all time? I'm sure that's the story they would want to go with. But with Ricky Saints, if he loses, okay, he can continually chase. It might be that he loses this one, but I think he's going to win. It means more for Ricky right now. And if you're going to kind of, again, how can I say it's reorganize the roster and kind of make it fresh again, you need a new face of the company now. That happens. Listen, I was a huge fan of Finn Balor. I never wanted him to lose the title when he became champion, but he did. It went to Samoa. And then you had Shinsuke Nakamura. Then you had Bobby Roode. Glorious one. Oh, I miss Bobby Roode. That version of him, at least. You have these transitions where it just has to change hands from time to time. And I think for the title reign of Oba, it's, I think, outlived its length. I think it's time to move on to something else. You need something new, because let's be honest, this roster you and I have talked about before, it's not the NXTs we know before in the past when we first started. They're building depth. But again, Oba's title reign, I think right now is just, it's getting stale. You need somebody new in there, and that new person will be Ricky Saints.
All right, so there you go. That's our NXT.
Was I in frame when I did that?
Yeah, you are actually.
Okay,
so
cool.
There's no issue.
Yeah,
now that we're blowing the fourth wall here, yeah, fade me out to a little Bazanji too as we close the show too. So so Trendsetter NXT No Mercy. That was our preview. We actually got a lot to talk about. We got a lot accomplished here. So again,
Crown Jewel. Let's not talk about the main event of Crown Jewel. What's going to happen with the men?
Cody and Seth. I mean, listen, it is official. It is Seth and Cody Rhodes. We saw it progress again too on SmackDown with Cody and Seth. But I'm gonna wait a little bit on this one, Trendsetter, because to me we're just starting to get this evolution of what's going on. They have a history. Obviously, those 3 matches that they had, they have a history, and the WrestleMania 40 match too, where Seth Rollins kind of gave himself to Cody and changed his career, which is a great promo. I think that promo built this matchup to where it is. But I'm looking forward to it, Trendsetter. Again, I just to me, I just
let's eliminate the story from it though. But from a match perspective, these two in the ring, I'm looking forward to that. I think they're gonna have a great match.
I'm so looking forward to it. And to me, honestly, though, this is a very easy match to know where this should go. This should clearly have a one winner, in my opinion, and it should be Seth Rollins. Paul Heyman.
Paul Heyman is the winner here.
It should be Seth. I think that's, again, an early prediction too. I'm going to say Seth Rollins should, and I could do the same thing when we made the predictions in a couple weeks. Seth Rollins should defeat Cody Rhodes. It just makes a lot of sense. Makes a lot of sense.
I'll save my prediction when we talk about the card. I might be in a different perspective than you are. Maybe I'll change my mind when we reach that point, but definitely looking forward to this. Listen, this one has the potential too and it's been talked about when they've been face to face and done promos with each other, right? Maybe, I don't know if you were a fan of that promo or not, but
it was really well done. It sold it there. That promo sold it.
The history from the time where Cody was gone to the WrestleMania he came back to 40 to the whole Shield thing where Seth helped Cody win the title from Roman Reigns to now. My God, all I'm saying to be creative is don't screw it up. You have so much to work with. You have so much ability here. Because let's be honest, Jeff, storylines like this, in my opinion, don't come off very often where not only is it real from the Hell in a Cell match too with a torn pectoral and that built to the story between him and Seth, for all of that to build up to a scenario like this where they're both champions facing each other and to make that crown jewel championship even more significant in terms of who wins it, that we're going to talk about. You've kind of given your prediction of who you think is going to win. Don't screw it up, WWE. You know the match is going to be good because these two are good in the ring together. They have great chemistry. But don't screw up that emotion of that story for us to build up into making this a big-time main event fight. So I'm looking forward to it, though, just from a paper standpoint, from a nostalgia standpoint. AJ Styles, John Cena, can't wait. Stephanie Belcaire, Tiffany Stratton, I could turn the sound off and still be happy. I don't give a crap about the commentary. I just want to see these two in the ring. Two of the most gorgeous women I've ever seen. But you know what? They can go in the ring as well. And with Seth Rollins and Cody Rhodes, man, enough said. Torn pectoral.
I don't know if it's stuff. I don't know if it's because I got to get up at 8:00 in the morning to watch it. That's the thing, though. I think if this was like in the United States, if it was somewhere here, they'd be like, oh man, but it's in Perth, and are we gonna get 8? Yeah, sure we will, but it just, I don't know. Just to me, the big time feel for something like this, kind of when it's not here in the States, kind of doesn't get me as amped up. I mean, if this is WrestlePalooza and we're getting this, or if this is something here, a PLE where SummerSlam, but I don't know, it's just not Perth. It just kind of like, to me, is it's missing that vibe, that juice, because you seem like you're pumped for everything, and that's great, but just to me, something about Perth and that time and just being overseas, to me, that just doesn't to me lose that big time vibe. Good for Perth, but just it just doesn't I don't know, it doesn't excite me that much to this. Maybe I've just been numbed by WWE's booking and stuff like that I do think they're gonna mess it up. You know what I mean? Maybe I'm just kind of like,
Jeff, can you do me a favor?
Yeah.
So when my birthday comes along, I'm not going to reveal when my birthday is. Don't give me a birthday card, because I would hate to see what you. I would hate to see. I can imagine you right now, Jay. Hey, Bri. Hey, Trendsetter. Because you'll never call me my name. Hey, Trendsetter. Hey, listen. I know you're old now, but enjoy it while it lasts, because
death is near.
Yeah, the end is near. And enjoy your day, whatever. Gee, you are the master at putting cold water into something that I'm trying to.
Oh, am I really?
Yeah.
Okay.
You are the master doing that right now, because we're talking about this card, and like, just from a match standpoint, you're like, I gotta get up at 8:00. Okay. Weren't we the same people, Jeff, that would get up and be looking at our phones, and this is how old I am, because I didn't pay for New Japan Pro Wrestling, want to watch and see what was going on in New Japan, to see Kenny Omega and Okada. But I was willing to get up at that time at 3 a.m. to make sure.
Are you willing to do it now? Is the product that good enough that's going to make you want to wake up at that time? I'm just saying, dude. I'm just saying that WWE has done a job where, like, that.
In terms of the product, WWE, no. But for these matches, yeah, I'd want to see them.
All right, Trendsetter. Crown Jewel is upon us, 2 weeks away. So definitely the card will get a little bit more stacked. Hopefully, it's more than 5 matches, maybe a little 6. I don't complain about the matches. But 6 would be good. I think that would be a nice round number. And I think the card is stacked enough where it kind of makes you look forward to it instead of the WrestlePalooza card. So that's a good sign. So hopefully we get a better card. I'm hoping.
Speaking of that, do you think the anticipation for this is different from WrestlePalooza, regardless of the location?
It's different anticipation. WrestlePalooza was like it's ESPN. You're to me, they're not overpromising anything here. It was the ESPN thing where they're getting you hyped up and everything like that too. So that's basically what it is. So it'll be the second PLE for ESPN. So we'll see if it goes better. But the card looks good right now so far. The first 3 that we know. All right, Trendsetter. It is the High Spot Podcast, HSP on the Give a Shot Network. We'll be back with you again. Make sure you follow us on all our social media at High Spot Podcast. And also, too, if you can't watch us, listen to us. HSP is on all podcast platforms. If you can't watch us, listen on Apple Podcasts and all podcast platforms. And make sure you like and subscribe here on the Give a Shot Network. And don't miss an episode of HSP, the Jersey Wrecking Crew, here on the Give a Shot Network. We thank everyone from Give Us a Shot Network too for having us here on the YouTube channel. And make sure you follow all their episodes as well. You get all the sports talk and everything like that. And again, too, if I had my own podcast on the Jets and the Mets too, it would be a very depressing one, maybe more depressing outlook that I have for the WPLEs so far. Translation, you probably wouldn't want to listen to that one too, because then probably would just probably depressing.
I listen to it every day. What are you talking about?
All right, Trendsetter. So that is
listen to a podcast.
So that is HSP. I am Jeff Martin, and this is the Trendsetter. He's going to close it out in only the amazing fashion that he does.
Thanks for blowing smoke up you know what, Jeff? I appreciate it. Guys, for my tag team partner, Jeff Martin, I'm the Trendsetter, Brian Berga. We are the Jersey Wrecking Crew. Thank you guys for watching this episode of the High Spot Podcast on Give Us a Shot Network. And remember, we do this for one reason and one reason only. We do it for you, the crew. Only foreign, got a new chick, I'm telling where we